and this station.
Welcome to the ultimate immersive art experience, chosen by over 6 million people worldwide. Arte Museum Las Vegas provides a full sensory experience with the theme of eternal nature. Ignite your senses and emotions with the groundbreaking fusion of art and technology. Arte Museum is now open at 63 Las Vegas on the Las Vegas Strip. Book your tickets now at lasvegas.artemuseum.com.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers. All
right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, Pushing the Limits. Thank you guys so much for joining us on what is, of course, another very busy news day. Leonard Cardinale is going to be joining us here in just a few, going over the news of the day. Donald Trump, shocker, going after another female reporter. This one, Caitlin Collins, I have a ton of respect for her. Take a dive deep a little bit into my 4-hour debate with Andrew Wilson today. I was on the Real America Voice Network yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that. And I appeared on Piers Morgan yesterday as well. So it's been a busy couple days. But joining me right now on the show, it's always a pleasure speaking with him. So many topics to discuss. I always love his brilliant political commentary. He's also got a great podcast. He is former presidential candidate, my friend Joe Walsh, joining us right now on the program. Joe, it's good to see you. How are you?
Brian, I followed you on Piers Morgan today.
You did? Oh, well, how was my appearance? I mean, you're the TV pro, right, Joe?
No. You had a great hit. I liked your hit. Who'd you give it back to? Who was
Benny Johnson? Benny Johnson.
You know what? In many ways, you're a better man than I am, Brian. I have a hard time with a guy like Benny because all I want to do is say, hey, Benny, did you ever give that money you got back from Russia back? Did you ever give that money back, Benny? Like, I really have an issue with stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I called him a right-wing cuck, for lack of a better term, and Pierce didn't stop me. And
you did well.
I appreciate that, Joe. Thank you. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. Let me start with Don Lemon. Don Lemon, right? You've done interviews with Don Lemon. I think he's a good dude, and I think what they've done to him is terrible. But in the long run, I actually think this helps Don Lemon. I think the Trump administration has done him a favor. What do you say?
It's the best thing that's ever happened to Don Lemon, by far. I know Don. I went on his show a whole bunch back in the day. Mm-hmm. Brian, it's politically stupid, right? But look what they did to Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. Look at how they raised his profile by going after him. Politically, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It will only help Lemon, but it's also really wrong because it's trying to put a chilling effect on speech in this country and going after the media.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said. I think and by the way, he wasn't protesting either. All these people claim that he stormed the church, which he didn't. He disrupted. No, he didn't. All he did was record, as you know, and he conducted a few interviews. So
by the way, Brian, props, because I did watch your interview and Pierce asked you about what if Alex Jones did what Lemon did, and you were straight up consistent. If Alex Jones was there as a member of the media and he saw what was going on and he was observing, and that's his job, you defend Alex Jones.
Yeah, even if I don't like somebody, that doesn't mean I say they belong in jail. They have to have committed a crime, right? And that's the point that I was trying to make with Pierce when he asked me about Alex Jones. I always try to be consistent, even though I can't stand Alex Jones. Don Lemon did not go in there and barge his way in and storm a church. He wasn't disrupting anybody. Like I said, he conducted a few interviews and he recorded. To me, that's not breaking the law. And I don't think these charges are going to hold up. Let's talk a little bit about ICE and Tom Homan. So Tom Homan announces today that they're withdrawing 700 agents from Minneapolis. Isn't that the language of really saying, hey, we effed up. We over-escalated this thing. Now, they'll never admit that. But it seems to me like that's kind of what they're doing here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Greg Bovino was a lousy face. Kristi Noem is a lousy face. And so Trump brought in, the elder statesman, Homan. And so he can put a more senior, a better face on what's happening, right? Which is these heavily armed, masked federal thugs are lawlessly roaming our streets. And they're getting Republicans, Brian. I can tell you the ones I talk to privately, they're scared to death because this issue, more than any other issue, is turning the American people against them for these midterms. Republicans know that. So what Trump is trying to do is put a better face on things, but it ain't changing, right? Yeah. It's not changing. And they're going to go on to another city and then another city. They can't escape. They can't escape what ICE is doing. And Brian, I don't see Team Trump trying to ratchet back what ICE is doing.
I tend to agree with you. You know, Joe, as you being a former now Republican, I know that probably still sounds a little weird to you, but as you as a former Republican, how does it make you feel to know that Renee Good's two brothers were in D.C. yesterday speaking with lawmakers, and there wasn't one Republican that showed up for this? How does that make you feel as being someone as a former Republican?
I'm not going to tell you a lie because I can't lie. Once a week for the last 7.5 years, my former party will do something that, Brian, I'm a grown man and I'm a tough guy, but that will make me cry, will make me tear up. And when I saw that yesterday, that was one of those moments where I said, what the? And it just made me so, I do get angry at my former party, but it makes me so sad at what they've become. You and I become good friends. We come from different places politically. I think the average Democrat who listens to you still, though, doesn't understand what it's like for somebody like me to have been belonged to a certain party for his whole adult life. And then it gets to the point where he has to leave that party and then watch what that party's become. That one, broke me again.
You know, Joe, I've defended you here for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, there's a lot of people on the left, people that listen to this show that say, why are you defending Joe? Why we don't want him. And what I tell them is very simple. First of all, your character, which I think you have a lot of character. And I think you're honest. You've been honest always with me, which I've always appreciated. I don't have to agree with you on every policy to know that I believe your heart is in the right place. You've owned your mistakes and you will never be MAGA, and you call out and you separate fact from fiction. I don't understand, and I disagree with people on the left that are not willing to accept you. We're not always going to agree on everything, and you might not be necessarily a policy-driven Democrat. I wouldn't consider you that.
No, and Brian, you're right. Again, I'm honest with you. There's not a week that goes by that thinks I don't belong in the Democratic Party. I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to defeat my former party and defend democracy. But I'm really not a Democrat when it comes to policy. But because when you think about it, Brian, look what I did. I wasn't an establishment Republican. I was a crazy far-right Tea Party Republican. It would be like AOC. Like things got so bad in the Democratic Party that eventually AOC became a Republican because the Democratic Party was so anti-democracy. Now, if that happened, wow, that would be wild, right? But there would be a lot of Republicans and conservatives who would never accept AOC in their tent. So I understand why a lot of progressives will never accept me. I really, really do.
I'm curious, Joe, what your thoughts are now of 3 million files that have been released with Epstein and graphic alleged victims that are claiming that not only Donald Trump did some things that were allegedly did some things that were horrible, but it just seems like they're continuing to protect powerful, rich people. I'm wondering what you make of what has already been released and the fact that there's still 3 million files that have yet to be released.
It's like, and I said this on Piers Morgan today. Yesterday, Trump was asked about Bill and Hillary Clinton testifying before Congress. Trump's reaction was, oh, that's too bad. Bill's a good guy. Hillary's a good lady. And it was kind of a weird reaction from Trump. But I told Pierce the reason Trump reacted that way is it's like this protection racket. It's like rich, powerful political elites are all protecting each other. And that's what Trump's doing. And I can't get over this, Brian. The president of the United States is mentioned in the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times.
Yep.
The second truth is there are allegations, and they're only allegations. There are allegations in the files that say Trump raped underage girls and threatened to kill an underage girl. Purely allegations. But all of this is there. And the fact that none of this is being investigated is horrible.
I completely agree with you. I guess my question next would be, do you think, and again, we don't know, there's no criminal charges, anything of that matter. Do you think that Donald Trump did some illegal things with underage girls? If you had to guess, and I know that's what we're doing right now, what do you think?
You're asking me my opinion, and so that they don't come after me. I like I've ever been careful with what I've said. Here's what I think. I think there's no doubt Trump knew what the leader of the pedophilia ring, Epstein, was doing. Based on Trump's history, I think there's no doubt Trump engaged in activities with young women, probably underage women. And I think there are powerful friends here and abroad of Trump's who did the same that he's protecting as well.
I agree with you, Joe. I agree with everything you just said, and we want accountability. We just don't know if we're going to get there. Joe, before I let you go, who you got coming on your awesome podcast, which I watch regularly?
You're such a wonderful promoter. By the way, I want to get you on so I can ask you some questions. You're always asking me questions.
I've done every show but yours. I was on Real America. Yeah.
Let me preach the truth to your audience. Hey, by the way, everybody who loves this guy, Shapiro's the hardest guy for me to get scheduled. He's always busy. He's always got something going on. Oh my God.
However, I will take credit for you making an appearance with my friend David Pollack on OAN. That was
thank you for that. Good guy.
That was a great segment. You did a great job. But yeah, I was on One America. I do OAN a lot now. So I'm on all these right-wing entities now. I wouldn't call Pierce that, but I'm glad you did Pierce today. I'm sorry I missed you by a couple of days. I'd love to be on a panel with you when we do Pierce. But yeah, I would love to do your podcast, Joe. I'm a big fan of what you do and your work. So hopefully we can get that going down the road, man. It'd be an honor. I'd love to do it.
I'm going to get you on, brother. And it's always good to be with you. Good to speak to you, brother.
Regards to you and your family, Joe. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Have a
man.
week. Take care. All right. That's Joe Walsh, everybody. That is a love fest. I love Joe. I think he's great. Joe's a great man. And I would absolutely welcome him in any party of mine if I was a Democrat, which I'm not, but I think Joe's the best. I think he's honest. He's not perfect. He would admit he's not perfect. But I consider Joe a really good friend, and I always appreciate it when he takes the time to join us. All right, from one friend to another, the guy that's sitting, to my right, it's to my right. He's the 25-year police veteran out of North Las Vegas and a former lieutenant who, by the way, I've mentioned Leonard Cardinale's name multiple times to people on shows in the last week or so, referencing you because I respect your opinion so much. Leonard, it's good to see you. How are you?
Good. A lot to go over. It looked like Andrew Wilson got a little behind himself because he was looking me up, right?
He did.
He's like,
saw that.
Hold on, Brian. Hold on, Brian. What'd you say his name was? And you spelled it Cardinal with no E. There's actually an E. But then notice
you trying to, sorry to interrupt, but you doing the Andrew Wilson impression is
Hold on, Brian.
I'm dying here. It's very funny. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hold on. Wait, let me check Google. And you're like, what are you doing? It's a fact. And he goes, yeah, that's their policy. You can kneel on the neck. And you're like, no, you can't. It's, and so then he's looking up my name and I'm like, oh, here it goes. He's going to see that,
By the way,
the credible is going to be like,
I didn't tell you this, but there was a good chance that Myron Gaines was going to come on to debate you today. And he cowered it out last second because he said you didn't have a big enough following. That was his excuse. So Leonard, maybe I'll make
well, that's true.
Going. But
yeah, Myron Gaines, he was a federal agent.
He was.
Do you know his history?
I don't know a lot about it. So
he was he wasn't DHS. He was DHI, like investigations.
Yeah.
And he was there for 6 years.
Yep.
And after 6 years, he didn't put in a outside employment requests. So police can't do outside employment unless it's approved. How many hours? Is it a conflict? Is it something that's disparaging, that's going to make the department look bad? So he just went out and did outside, and he said, he admits it. He says it in a video. And so he was one of them. I think he was undercover, but no one stays 6 years at a good job. If it's a good job and you're good at it, you stay 25 years, 30 years. How long have you been doing this? 20 years, 25 years?
I'm going to try to get that to happen. I was talking to Myron on DM the other day.
I don't have any following.
Well, yeah, but that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that you have a lot of experience, and that's what's important. Much more experience than Myron. And I would also, Andrew Wilson is the one who used Myron as a source. And
I saw that.
This is what I say to all these people.
But of course he's going to, sorry to interrupt you, but of course Myron Gaines is going to agree because he was one of them.
Of course, but this is what I say to these people. You could always find a few geographer people out there that would say the earth is flat. You can find a lot of anti-vaccine cuckoo doctors that believe in demon sperm, right? That'll think that the vaccines.
Wait, let me look that up.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
Yeah. How many times, by the way, in that 4-hour thing did he ask to Google? And by the way, I was right about everything I brought up.
Chain smoking and
really weird.
Looking on Google and every fact that you came up with.
So I'm saving that for the last clip I'm going to play. Okay. I think I want to get your thoughts. There's a lot of opinions I want to hear from you today. But I do want to start with my Piers Morgan, and if you missed it, my Piers Morgan appearance, which aired yesterday. Rod Blagojevich was one of the guests, and Rod spoke maybe for 30 seconds the entire show.
It looked like you were the host.
Yeah,
that's how much you spoke.
I was pretty dominant, as I usually am when I do Piers. I don't let people talk
and Benny
over
was
me.
just like listening, like
I don't let people talk
sense.
over me. And to Piers Morgan's credit, he lets me do it, which I appreciate. So Benny Johnson is somebody that I would say is a shill for Donald Trump, right? Would you agree? He's a shill.
That's a very polite word, Brian. Thank you.
This is an example where I believe he's going after Don Lemon a little bit, and he's talking about the whole church thing. And we're getting into the Epstein files, and we're getting into all these different topics where the hypocrisy is evident. But this is a part in the clip where I just had to say it, and I've always wanted to say it on the Piers Morgan show. I called him a cuck. Have a listen to this.
They watched the video in the grand jury indictment. They used his own video as the evidence against him, along with a number of other, and along with all of the evidence that was provided by the churchgoers. I'm saying that all of the above is wrong, and that you can't do that, that these are places of worship. These are also private property. And that Don Lemon was part of a conspiracy to do this, because Don Lemon was working with the organizers. He was delivering coffee to them. He was working with the actual individuals who were planning this. He said so on his live stream. And then he went up to the front of the pulpit and started harassing the pastor there at the front of the pulpit. Now, what was also happening was also, it's on video. So what was also happening here was that little children were being wrongfully imprisoned. Do you know this? Like, little children were being wrongfully imprisoned. If you read the indictment, the children were being kept in their Sunday schools by the protesters, harassed, spit on, attacked. They weren't able to get to their parents. And Don Lemon says in the video, and thank you for mentioning this, Ethan, that is on video. Don Lemon says in the video, these children look traumatized. Well, actually, that's the point. This is an exact quote from his live stream. And so if you think that that's okay to do to like little children in a church or children in a synagogue or children in a mosque, I think it's all wrong. I think that these places of worship should be off limits for people protesting or
Benny
attacking
is a
them.
Political operative.
It's not
his job is to lie.
Yeah, that's not what happened.
The administration.
That's
All
right.
right, let me bring Brian. Okay, hang on. Don't talk at once. Don't all talk at once. Let me get to Brian next. Brian, I do think Benny raised a good point. That's why I tried to answer his question in real time, but it was aimed at everybody, which is, if that had been Alex Jones, who does a version of what Don Lemon does, but to the right, if he had gone into a mosque, for example, and he'd gone in with a group of protesters who then interrupted the worship and traumatized young Muslim kids, right, or whatever, an exact similar situation, but a mosque and it's Alex Jones, can you say with all honesty you would be out here defending Alex Jones?
Well, first of all, for full disclosure, I'm friends with Don Lemon. And to answer your question, Pierce, if Alex Jones wasn't protesting, because Don Lemon wasn't protesting, Benny Johnson is lying when he says that Don Lemon harassed the pastor. If Alex Jones wasn't harassing anybody and didn't disturb anybody, I would be saying the same thing I'm about to say right now. Don Lemon was not protesting. He wasn't breaking the law. Maybe you could cite him for maybe trespassing. But the fact of the matter here is that this is not going to hold up in court. This is a charade. This is another example of the Donald Trump administration that is weaponizing the DOJ. And yes, I do think the color of his skin, certainly his politics and his sexuality have something to do with this. But you see, people like Benny Johnson, okay, who I do believe is a right-wing shill for Donald Trump, they're the first people after January 6th that called it a tourist visit. They patriots and hostages if you beat cops. But oh my God, Don Lemon didn't storm a church, by the way. He walked into the church, he took out his cell phone, and he started recording. But to Benny, people like Benny, this is the worst thing in the world. Put him in jail. But yet when it comes to January 6th, if you beat cops, they're hostages and patriots. Benny, my advice to you is stop being a Donald Trump cuck and tell the truth and be honest for once in your life. I know you make a lot of money.
What about Steve Baker?
Every single day.
All right, there you go.
That was raw.
There you go. What's your reaction to that?
First of all, Don Lemon, what he got charged with is under the FACE Act. So on the FACE Act, you can't obstruct a church proceeding, but you have to. It's either with violence, threat of violence, or if you block people from going in and out. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't reach any of the elements. And they also did conspiracy. Now, as you know, in order to have conspiracy, you have to have somebody to conspire with who says, yes, we conspired. So I think all charges are going to be dropped. But I like the way that your integrity remained and you stayed honest and you said, yeah, it was Alex Jones. If it was, Greg Bovino, anybody, it doesn't matter who it is. It wasn't right. But Don Lemon was there as a journalist. Yeah. And if you were there, you would have been there as a journalist. So you agree with my
assessment?
He was interviewing people. Yeah. He interviewed the pastor.
Yep.
And the pastor didn't say the elements of trespassing are that you have to have a warning. They have to warn you you're trespassing and then you refuse to leave. That never happened. Mm-hmm. And the implied trespassing is if somebody jumps over your gate into your yard, that's kind of an implied trespassing. But that didn't happen because it's a public place and the doors are open.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. And listen, I had to get that out with Benny, but it does get a little worse. Does get a little bit more uncomfortable.
He didn't seem to be. Maybe he is because he didn't seem to get that upset.
I was going to say this after, but I'll say it now. After my appearance, Benny started following me on X.
See, I think he likes you.
We DM'd each other. Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment. But this is the point, Leonard, where I call out right-wing hypocrisy. Have a listen to this.
Into it, and I think even Benny would agree. He's like, yeah, it's spice.
So Pierce, you had Valentina, if you recall, on your show about a month ago. I think we both agree she's despicable. She's running for office in Texas. Yeah. She went into a church. There's video of this a month ago, and she called the churchgoers pedophiles. They asked her to leave. Multiple people asked her to leave. I'm sure Benny's not talking about this, or he'll say, I don't know anything about that. But she didn't leave right away. It's all on video. She stormed a church. She called people pedophiles. Not only is she not arrested, but the DOJ is not even investigating this case. So this is a double standard at a minimum. Don Lemon didn't break any laws. He wasn't harassing anybody. I'm sorry if a few kids were crying and their church service was disturbed. I really am sorry about that. But I care a little bit more about Renee Good's family and the fact that her kids are growing up without a mother. But people like Benny don't want a full investigation into that. Let's call these people who were murdered domestic terrorists and assassins. But boy, that guy, Don Lemon, I can't believe he stormed a church and he did a couple interviews. Benny, give me a break.
All right. So by the way, I'm about to say, give me an effing break.
So what do you know F words? Yeah, you're 100% right. And it's a double standard that the Republicans and the MAGA right they implore on everyone. There's a standard where, it's so, they're pearl clutching about you going into the church. But if they do it, then it's just fine. And I think you were 100% right. But I'm surprised that Benny, usually he's a little fiery.
He was
seemed
soft.
Like he was.
I think he was a little surprised.
Did they put something in it? No,
I don't know.
I thought he was gonna. I was expecting him to come back and say, "Oh yeah, Brian, no, this and this," and bring up some facts. But he seemed like he was listening to your points more than anything.
We'll get to the Epstein files in a moment because I destroyed him there. But on the Don Lemon topic, he called Don Lemon a black hole. Now, I don't know if he meant that in any terminology.
That sounds
based on his
racist,
race, but it certainly sounds racist to me. So I want you to listen to this because I challenged him on it. Listen to his explanation, then I want to get your thoughts. Have a listen to this.
Favor of that? You know, this is like a hate crime.
I'll answer that.
Are you in favor of that? He said it. There's multiple clips of him saying
a black hole if you want to talk about hate crimes.
That's a space term. That's like that's a term. That's something that exists in the galaxy.
Can I answer? Because I asked him about this because he's done my show probably 5 times in the last month. So he believes there is something in this country called white privilege, Benny. You have it and I have it. He does believe there are some cases in the church or in America where there is white supremacy. Now, I know you probably believe there isn't anything in like Tucker Carlson, that white privilege doesn't exist in this country and white supremacy doesn't exist. But the fact of the matter is, Benny, is that it does. Now, I would like to go back to the black hole comment. What did you mean by that when you made that statement?
I'm surprised you didn't call him a gay black hole.
Black hole is something that exists in space and time, and it absorbs gravity. And so it's just something that Don Lemon is going to take the gravity of the situation and use it to become more powerful. That's what I've said, and I said that the Trump administration has to be very careful in charging this because this is what people do in these kind of circumstances. Okay. If you're Don Lemon,
Benny, I'll tell you what he won't do. Sure. So Benny, I'll tell you what Don Lemon won't do. He won't make billions of dollars in a crypto scandal. He won't build a ballroom for his own financial gain. Jared Kushner, one of his friends, won't be taking $2.1 billion from the Saudis. So if you want about taking power over and having power and taking advantage of it, sure, Don Lemon's going to be more successful because of this. But do you know why? Because of the buffoons in the White House that decided to charge this guy. And I think most of us agree on this panel, it's not going to hold up in a courtroom. So if you have anybody to blame for this, it's not Don Lemon. It's the morons like Pam Bondi and Donald Trump that did this to Don Lemon, which will help him more in the long run. But please don't talk to me and lecture me about power and then taking advantage of that when Donald Trump does.
I find this amazing what you just admitted here, and I'm trying to be respectful as you're rambling. So you just said that it's okay that Don Lemon attacked this church because they're white?
So first of all, Don Lemon made general terms about the church. He wasn't specifically talking about an individual. He wasn't specifically talking about an individual group of people in the church. He made very generic and general claims, which I agree with him, that white supremacy in this country is a problem and white privilege in this country is a problem as well. And if you don't agree with that there is something called white privilege and that, yes, white supremacy is an issue in this country, then you can take the page from Tucker Carlson and have the blinders on and be complicit, Benny. That's up to you.
I do think it's probably worth bearing in mind that at this stage that Don is married.
You said yes
to a.
I didn't say yes. What's your reaction to that?
I think he tried to pivot to say that the black hole was something that sucks gravity. But let me tell you something, because I have a lot of black friends, and I growing up in New Jersey. Many of my friends are black, and if you call any black male, gay or straight, a black hole, they're going to take it as a pejorative term.
Well,
they're
that's
not
how I
going to take
took
it. They're not going to think science. Okay. Like, oh, black hole, like, where
Leonard,
time doesn't exist.
So Leonard, obviously I agree with you. Okay. And I haven't heard him use that terminology to call somebody white that. And that's why I questioned him on it. Right. But I thought he backtracked and I tried to get him there. I want to play you one more clip because this is an important one and I'm not going to play the whole thing. But maybe if there's a way we can play the final 2 minutes, I don't know if there's a way you can do that. If you can fast, because it's a long clip and I don't want to make you sit through the whole thing. It's like an 8-minute clip. But if there's a way that you can play, Numchuck, the final 2 minutes or so, doesn't have to be, because I'll set it up for you. So Leonard, we've talked about the Epstein files a lot. And every single time you talk to somebody on the right, they usually bring up Bill Clinton, right? Mm-hmm. And he does that. He plays that game with me. And I'm just trying to ask him, and I answer his question when it comes to Bill Clinton. And then I'm saying, will you give the same thought, criticism to Donald Trump that maybe he did some bad things too? And it just goes to show you what a right-wing hypocrisy Nimrod Benny Johnson is. So
with them afterwards. For example, Elon Musk wrote him an email that said, "When is the wildest party?" Now, who would ask a convicted known trafficker, when is their wildest party on their island? Right? Like
Right.
even you can say, oh, I didn't know. But listen, he did know. This is Epstein. He was a socialite, a New York socialite. These people all know each other. They know. Why is he asking him to party? He knows him because he's the party guy. He's the guy, hey, I got the girls.
Yeah.
Age
And I'll add something to
optional.
that. And I'll add something
Right,
to that.
Benny?
I agree with everything you just said. There are victims and there are people that made statements to the FBI with the possibility threatened of perjury if they were lying. I tend to believe those victims, but this is a pattern of behavior with Donald Trump. The 25 plus women that have come forward that have accused him of sexual assault or rape. The hiding, not wanting to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. It's very strange. He doesn't want to talk about it. He calls everybody stupid who even brings it up. And again, I go back to E. Jean Carroll. I go back to him sexualizing his own daughter. I go back to him bragging about going into teenage girls' locker rooms on the Howard Stern show in a beauty pageant that he ran. So there is a history. Now, is it criminally? Have you proven anything in a court of law? Obviously not. But I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I absolutely believe that the 3 million files that we haven't seen yet, keep that in mind, half the files we haven't even seen yet, they've already released these files that I think are pretty damning to Donald Trump. Imagine what's left that they haven't released yet. So let's wait and see. I agree with Benny.
Okay,
I don't
disagree.
say that he wants the files to be released.
I don't disagree with that.
And I mean, this is the guy who famously said, grab him by the pussy, right?
To be fair to Benny, Benny has
Hold on.
Benny
You
has
say
said
if there's
very
smoke, there's
clearly he
fire.
thinks they should all be released.
Yep.
All right, look, Benny, we're running out of time. But
Can I
Benny, I
just
want to
jump in?
just
The record
I just
order was-
hang on a second,
I just want to get the take on Clinton here. I just want to get the take on Clinton.
I'll give you the take.
Because there are
I'll give
photos
it
of
to you.
Clinton in the hot tub.
By
There
the
are
way,
photos of
I'll give
Clinton
you
on
a
the
made a
plane.
video
I got a
yesterday
tape.
defending Elon Musk. Do not let him
I'll
get
give
away
you a
from
take on
that.
Bill Clinton. Benny, you ready for this?
So what?
Because I'm not a show
Yeah,
for
okay.
anybody, Benny. I'll answer your question directly.
Go for it.
I believe that both Donald Trump and Bill Clinton have done some very bad things to young women. But here's the difference between me and you, okay? I don't defend Bill Clinton ad nauseum. You defend Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
none of us
I
do.
want, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I want you held to the highest standard of the law, and I want justice for the victims. I don't play whataboutism. I agree with you that, yeah, Bill Clinton probably did some very bad things as well. But guess what? Bill Clinton is not the leader of the free world right now. Donald Trump is. And I have yet to see you actually make the case or make a claim that, yeah, Donald Trump probably did some very bad things with Jeffrey Epstein. I will admit that I wouldn't doubt the fact that Bill Clinton has done that. Are you willing to agree with me with some middle ground here and say, yeah, Donald Trump also probably did some bad things? Will you admit that right now on Piers Morgan?
No, of course not. Because there's no evidence.
Of course not.
Zero.
Because you're a
Grab him
cop.
by the
That's
pussy.
why.
There you go. I had to throw that cuck word in there one more time, Leonard. What do you make of that?
You know what my take is on the Clintons, and I'm going to predict this right now. I'm going to predict that bringing in Hillary and Bill Clinton is a huge mistake for the Republican side. It's going to be, they agreed to filming it, they agreed to it being in private, and they agreed to making a transcript of it. And I think it's going to be like Jack Smith. They thought they were going to bring Jack Smith in, and they were going to turn him around and be rhetorical with him and make him, miss his steps. And I think the reason why Bill and Hillary agreed to it is because I think they would just love to come in there and tell their side of the story. And unless I miss my guess, I think the MAGAs are going to regret it. What do you think?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think they will as well. And keep in mind, Leonard, as you know, there's still 3 million files that have yet to be released with the Epstein files. Donald Trump doesn't want to talk about it. So we're going to take a quick break, Leonard. And when we come back, speaking of the Epstein files, a reporter that I think does a great job, Caitlin Collins, asked him about the Epstein files and survivors. And Trump just loses it yesterday. He just loses it. And your buddy, Andrew Wilson, who mentioned your name in my debate, I have a clip that I'm going to play for you that I think you might thoroughly enjoy.
Should I call out Myron Gaines? Like,
you should
just look in the camera and go, Myron, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, he doesn't want to.
It doesn't matter if I'm popular or not.
Yeah.
Come debate me.
Yeah, because apparently if you're a Holocaust denier and you have a lot of followers, that gives you more gripe than somebody like you who's a 25-year plus police officer and a former lieutenant. Myron Gaines is an imbecile, but I knew you would have destroyed him. I invited him on. I'll keep asking him. We'll see if we can get that done. All right, we'll take a quick break. Me and Leonard will be back right after this. You won't want to miss this coming up. Caitlin Collins, Donald Trump just absolutely attacking her for asking a question about Epstein. And then, I'm going to play you a
He's
clip.
been cranky.
You're not going to believe what Andrew Wilson had to say in my debate with him about every single woman that has come forward and that has claimed that Donald Trump sexually abused him. You're not going to believe what Andrew Wilson said. We'll have that for you when we come back, and then we will also take some phone calls. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSH. All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Leonard Cardinale co-hosting with me today. It's been kind of a busy couple days. Busy is good. I did Brooklyn Dad Defiance.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he
Good
did the
guy.
show yesterday.
Smart.
I love Brooklyn Dad. He's great. I did his podcast. And then, yes, he is a friend. I think he's a goofball, but he's a friend. Right-wing buffoon, but that's okay. Alex Stein. So he does a TV show on the Real America Voice Network. He does a TV show. So I did his show yesterday. And then, of course, the Pierce Morgan show. So it's been kind of a good, busy couple days, and I enjoyed it. And I also debated Andrew Wilson for 4.5 hours.
You had some stamina, let me tell you.
That was, well, I wouldn't go that far, but maybe mentally.
That's a lot. Mental stamina.
So it's been a lot. So before I get to that, so Leonard, as you know, every single time somebody asks Donald Trump a question about anything that he doesn't want to answer, he attacks them, particularly women.
Yeah, female reporters.
He does that a lot. So Caitlin Collins asked a valid question, what I believe it is at least, about the Epstein survivors, right? Because there's a lot of survivors out there that think this isn't enough. There needs to be an investigation. We want to hold these people accountable, right? Very fair question. Listen to this exchange with Caitlin Collins, and Donald Trump attacked her for even bringing this up.
Mr. President.
Something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to the survivors who
you are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile in your face.
You
know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth, and you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you. Okay, go ahead.
Of a sexual
You mentioned
abuse.
health care.
Okay.
And the bill that was just passed does not include your health care savings account. So this is a question for you and maybe for Mr. Speaker as
I'm
well.
so proud of the healthcare.
Yeah, we don't need to go into the healthcare stuff, but so the reason why the orange orangutan was so upset, all Caitlin Collins was doing was asking her about the survivors. And by the way, why should she be smiling and laughing when you're talking about victims of alleged sexual assault?
She smiles sometimes, but she's a very serious reporter.
Yeah, she's talking about survivors in the Epstein files. Notice how he deflects and he doesn't want to answer the question. You know why? Because I believe some of those survivors were probably somehow involved in Donald Trump's inner circle. That's what I believe based on a lot of evidence that I've seen. But regardless of that, what do you make of that exchange? To me, it's so sickening. All this woman, it'd be one thing if you asked a question that was just out there crazy, right? But she didn't do that.
No, he made it very personal, and he's attacking the media. But, you know, it reminds me of 1933. It reminds me of 1980s, you know, when they attacked the media and made them the bad guy. And I think, personally, I don't think he particularly cares for women, and he particularly doesn't care for smart women. I think he doesn't like it when somebody asks him, like, if you...
clearly, he married Melania Trump. So, yeah, clearly, obviously.
Yeah, who made $7 million.
Are you telling me you didn't see her, you didn't read her book or her amazing documentary that is putting people to sleep?
No, I didn't.
It's better than Ambien, I've heard.
Yeah, they, so apparently the rumor is that they paid corporations to buy out whole theaters. And then, did you see the video online where the guy goes to the theater and all the seats are empty?
Yep.
And he's walking up through the theaters and there's no one there. So
Yeah.
it's all. It's
Well, there's
all
also
fake.
Craigslist ads where they were willing to pay people up to $50 to sit through that hell.
But the proviso
yeah.
was, if you get the $50, you have to stay till the end.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So they don't. Yeah, so they don't. You know, somebody doesn't go in there and film it.
Give me a
empty.
Tom Homan $50,000 duffle bag full of cash, and maybe I would consider it.
I didn't break the law. Just
yeah,
plain and simple. I didn't break any laws. The 50,000. You know, there's better things to talk about.
Yeah, just insane. But so, as some of you may or may not know, I did a 4 to 4.5 hour debate with Andrew Wilson on the shootings, the ICE shootings in Minneapolis, and we got into the Epstein files. Now, the shootings in Minneapolis, I'm not going to play you even clips of that. It was so insane. But Andrew Wilson's defense on the Alex Preddy shooting, and I have the video to prove it, it's on my YouTube page. He says, well, the officers didn't know. He could have had a second gun on him or a third gun on him.
So they shot him because they thought he might have a second or third gun.
Listen, Leonard, my
That
head...
is so stupid.
It is,
to
right.
say that.
My head exploded because you could make that defense for any officer involved shooting. Well, they don't know. He could have had a grenade
What
on
he's
him.
talking about is where there's no gun, there's one. Where there's one gun, there's two. They teach you that in the police academy because they don't want you to assume just because you got the gun, but you can't shoot someone for it.
So he's defending the Renee Good shooting. Oh, well, she went after him with the vehicle, deadly weapon, and he was hit. You know, this is the defense I hear. But it goes back to, even though I disagree, independent investigation or even a full investigation, which we know hasn't happened. He can't defend that. That's all I want. I want a full investigation. And he didn't even know the comments that Kristi Noem made when she called Renee Good a domestic terrorist, or when Stephen Miller called Alex Preddy an assassin. And
Yeah, I was looking it up on Google.
Yeah, he made me look it up on Google.
Hold
How
on,
could
Brian.
you follow the news, which I assume he does, and not know that
What did
these
he have,
comments
like a
were made?
laptop or something? He
I
kept
have
going.
no
Something
idea.
was on the wall. He kept typing on it and typing on it.
Yeah, I don't know because listen, I don't Google things, and when I'm in the middle of a debate, either I get it right or I get it wrong. I'm not debate. I could do that if I wanted to.
Well,
but
that's debate 101, Brian. Me and you come in and we sit down and we debate. You either have your facts ready to go or
Correct.
you don't.
Right.
There's no looking them up and confirming I thought I knew what I was talking about.
Right, and I'm talking about the statements that members of the Trump administration has made, including the person who's in charge of DHS, who called again both of these deceased individuals. It's very sad, domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
It's like, and he didn't even know that. So it's like, what am I debating here? Why?
Well, he wanted you. I think he wanted you to prove it, right? He was smoking
Yeah.
the cigarette, going, "Okay, let's look that up." Okay, it's
Yeah.
like it's a fact.
It's so stupid, right? And I guess like this was at the point in the debate where I think he might have had a few too many adult beverages. I don't know. But we started to get into the Epstein files. And his entire argument is, Brian, give me the one smoking gun that you believe that Donald Trump essayed children. And I said, it's not one situation.
Katie
First of all, there's a lot of, but there's a lot of circumstantial evidence. Okay. That's number one. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence. And it's collectively the way Donald Trump has lived his life, the way he's treated women, the 25, I go on and on with the reasons why I feel the way I
They
feel.
redacted entire pages.
Right. Exactly. So I got to be honest with you. I was even surprised when Andrew Wilson said this. Now, he characterizes all women, not some, all women that have ever accused Donald Trump of any sexual improprieties. He called them lying, effing B words. Here it is. All the women that have accused Donald Trump of rape or sexual assault.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
You don't. So
No.
all the women that have accused him of rape, they're all lying.
Yeah, well, the ones who are supposedly credible, for sure, I think so. But that has no
there
bearing
are
on
over
this.
20 hold on. Let me rephrase it. There are over 25 women that have accused Donald Trump of rape.
I don't
or
believe any
sexual
of them. I don't believe
including
none
his
of them, Brian.
They're
Yeah, you heard what I said.
Andrew, you are not a serious person.
How is that not
You are
serious?
not a serious person.
What
No.
do you mean?
First of all, you're going to call all women that have accused Donald Trump of rape. You're
Why
would you do that?
You unsolicited my wife in DMs and called her a
Andrew.
What do you mean?
I'm not
What are you
going there with you,
talking about?
Andrew.
You called
Andrew.
her
Andrew.
I'm losing it.
Andrew, do you really want to go there? You just called. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I don't want to.
Yeah,
go
I
there
don't
with you.
believe any more
Okay.
than I believe what happened with Blasio Ford and
So they're
Kavanaugh.
all. Wait,
I don't
hold on.
believe
Let's
it.
go. No, hold on. Let's
I
go
think
back
you're a
to what
bunch of
we're-
lying.
So, let me address one thing real quick. But I want to start by saying I think those comments are absolutely despicable. I get into a private conversation with Andrew Wilson's wife. I don't even remember her first name. And his wife goes on social media, attacks people on the left every single day, says far worse things to people than anything I ever said to her. And the reason why I called her the B word, it's just like calling a man a douchebag, right? I mean, it's similar to me, because she went on social media and spread lies, and people on social media that say horrible things about me, or they would for anybody else. They do that on people on the left.
Everyone has haters.
Right. And she retweets it and puts out an article with fake information about me, making horrible claims about me. That's part of the reason why I called her that. And the other reason is I think she's an absolute hypocrite, because she claims, her Christianity and her faith. And yes, she has 3 baby daddies. And I said, don't preach to others how they should live their life. Look at you. You can have 3 baby daddies. I don't think you're a sinner for doing that. I don't want to get involved in other people's personal life. You could have 10 kids with 10 different men. That's your life, and that's you. Just don't judge other people for what you call, your Christian beliefs, because that's not really a Christian, if you ask me. And she was very nasty to me. She attacked my physical appearance. She attacked everything about me. So there's a difference in context between me using that term, which, by the way, I don't use very often, but in specific cases, in calling Andrew Wilson's wife that word, and Andrew Wilson with no context other than these women who he doesn't know, who he never spoke to, allege that Donald Trump sexually abused them. And because they make that claim, not only does he call them all liars, but he calls them effing B words.
So he's a misogynist.
That's
the difference.
Yes.
You were calling his wife, and maybe names are not the best way to do it, but you called her names because she lied about you. And when you lie about people get angry, especially if you're putting it out in the public and in the media. And now you have to do damage control, which I'm sure you had to do. And so it's annoying. But to say that every woman is lying who said they were sexually assaulted, every single one of them.
Yeah, and I didn't do any damage control per se. I really don't care what she says about me. I'm just giving you context of why I got into it with her on DMs. And this is the way people are. Like, they have nothing better to talk about. Like, when we
get some clicks. That's how they get their clicks.
Like there are people that are making videos about my private DMs with her. It's like, okay, what's the worst thing I said to her? I didn't wish her any harm. I didn't wish her any ill will. I certainly called out her hypocrisy with the way she lives her personal life. And yeah, I called her a few names as she called me names. Okay, so what? By the way, I don't take back anything I said.
Well, you know what the Japanese say.
The
They
reason
say
why
go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's the reason why I probably shouldn't have done this, but I tried to be the better man. The reason why I apologized to Andrew, I did not apologize to her because I have nothing to apologize to her for, is because Andrew was willing to do a 4.5-hour debate, which I appreciated. It didn't get to a level of, back and forth, just calling each other names for the most part. I mean, there were a few moments.
Got a little heated toward the end there.
But it wasn't, so that's why I tried to be, I tried to play nice with him and be respectful. Anyway, that's the context of that. What did you make of that clip that I just played where he's calling every single woman who claimed that Trump sexually abused them lying effing B word? Like, what do you make of a guy who makes
I would say that from a man's perspective, that's someone who's very, very insecure with themselves. He's a misogynist. He has to attack women. And you know what? Maybe some victims do lie, but that's not the point. Okay. The point is, when they make accusations, you have to treat them like a victim and you have to investigate it. And that's what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to go through the Epstein files. It's a huge cover up. They've been covering it up. Isn't Donald Trump's name in there over 38,000 times? Am I wrong? That's the right number, right? 38,000. I think. I'm not 100% sure. So Andrew Wilson just doesn't like women in general, and I can guess why. I mean, I don't know what he was like in high school or beyond that. I know he's married, but maybe he had some bad experiences where
it's just listen, whenever a victim comes forward in regards to sexual abuse, I tend to take that seriously, especially when they're in the Epstein files. I've
taken many reports on that. Many reports. They're not easy to take.
Right. And listen, I understand. And I kind of laugh at this because there are people that make videos about me that say just the most insane things about me. And I don't pay too much attention.
But that's all they have, Brian.
Right. I don't pay too much attention to it because I find it flattery. As the more I get a higher profile and do national shows, and I've been doing.
It's going to get worse.
I'm doing a lot of them lately, and I don't let it get to me. I laugh it off.
Like I said before, the Japanese say, if your enemies hate you, they're doing something right.
Yeah, and as I am proud to say, as you being a former cop, you could easily look this up and fact check me, and anybody else could. Not only have I never been convicted of a crime in my life, I've never even been charged with a crime in my life. I have had a few speeding tickets, Leonard, I'll be honest with you. But I haven't had one in many years. I did make an illegal U-turn like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but isn't that what they're saying about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Aren't they saying it about Donald Trump? Yeah, there's all these accusations, but nothing's ever been proven.
Well,
but with Brian, But with Brian, it's some wacky accusation online, and it must be the truth.
So stupid. It's so stupid. But here's the thing, and I said this to a friend of mine last night who also has been attacked like this, and he said something very interesting. He's a large profile. I won't say who it is, but somebody that's far bigger than I am as far as. And he said to me, Brian, if they weren't doing this to us, we would be doing something wrong. They want to shut us up. And they want to censor us because we're getting to them and we're getting underneath their skin. They hate seeing me on Piers Morgan. They hate seeing me on national networks. They hate it.
Well, when you're a cop, the greater majority of people are going to not like you. So statistically, something like 25% of the people love police. But you know what? 93% of people love firemen. Why is that?
Yeah.
Because when the firemen come to your house, it's for a health reason, or they're going to put out a fire. When the police come to your house, there's a good chance someone's going with them.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is I spent my whole life with people saying terrible things about law enforcement and about me, taking them to jail in the back of the car, saying vile, disgusting things. And for my personality, I don't know why, it just never bothered me because I knew what I was doing the right thing at the right time and I was enforcing the law. And yeah, a certain amount of people are just going to hate you.
Yeah,
that's the way it is.
And again, if that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't be doing something correctly, right? I mean, for you being in law enforcement for many years, can you moving on here? Can you clear this up for me? Because I've heard a few idiots on social media that are either current or former law enforcement. When I say idiots, there's a very small percentage of people that are defending these two shootings.
We could just call them MAGAs.
Can you explain to me what the proper protocol is? And are you supposed to be walking, or let me even put it to you this way. Let's start with Jonathan Ross. What proper training techniques and what mistakes did he make that you can talk to us about?
Okay, a couple things. You're never supposed to put anything in your gun hand. Nothing. So when I went to the police academy, you have to go in every morning and you have this huge bag and you got your duty belt and you got your uniforms and your boots and you have to dress at the academy. You have to wear everything on your left side. I had to carry my boots and my bag on my left side because they train you to keep my gun hand was my right hand free. You never step in front of vehicles. In the police academy, when they do what are called practicals that you have to pass in order to become a cop, it's at the end of the academy. If you're doing a car stop and you walk in front of a vehicle, you're failing. You're probably not going to be a cop. And I would challenge Andrew Wilson and Myron Gaines and anybody else who wants to look it up, to look at some policy somewhere in some police department where they say it's okay to walk in front of a car. And by the way, who thinks they can stop a car with a gun? Somebody who watches video games? Somebody who thinks they're just, they're invincible and they're never going to die. So what was his intention? To get in front of the car and stop it? Because he shot into the car. It didn't stop it. So the whole thing, a matter of fact, let me be specific. We're taught to walk up to the back of the window on the driver's side and not to penetrate that, not to go past the window. If there's people in the back seat, you stay behind the back window until you know that you're safe. You are not supposed to go horizontal with the window, and you're definitely not supposed to go to the front of the A-frame where the mirror is, because that's they call it a kill zone. That's a danger zone. More cops have been hurt by going, because if they have a gun, they can shoot straight through the window. But if you're back on an angle, you can see them, you can see their hands, you can see the passenger's hands, but they can't see where you are because you're kind of back. And I know that's a long explanation. But
I kind of figured that. But what do you make of people that are defending this shooting of Rene Good that say, well, he was struck by the vehicle, he had the right to defend himself?
Well, they're trying to mitigate what actually happened and make it seem less serious than it was. And like I told you, we were taught, I taught use of force for many, many years. I'm a firearms instructor. I'm an AR-15 firearms instructor. I'm a use of force instructor. And so I had to teach this. And for you are not allowed to put yourself in jeopardy as a cop, in order to use deadly force. If you put yourself in jeopardy, if you jump in front of a car and you shoot and kill someone, well, then you shouldn't have jumped in front of the car, is what they're trying to say. So who caused that use of force? And what I believe, now that they're doing a civil rights investigation, I believe that if they find them guilty of civil rights violations.
You're about Alex Preddy, not Jonathan Ross.
Alex Preddy and Jonathan Ross. I mean,
well, no. But so Alex Preddy's the second guy who was shot and killed. I'm talking.
Right. That's the
Rene
investigation.
Good. My understanding is they're not investigating anymore into the Rene Good shooting. which is
done.
despicable. They didn't.
We're
Correct me if
good.
I'm wrong.
Nothing to see here.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They didn't do ballistics. They didn't interview witnesses, as far as I know.
Brian, we can't do anything
nothing.
on a crime scene, on a shooting,
Right.
until everything is photographed and videoed in place where it was. So before we do anything, before we even get into the car, we call out CSI. They have to photograph everything, all the ballistics, how many shots. We have to recover the rounds. There has to be an autopsy. And so, and the shooter, the police officer, is not allowed to leave. They have to be interviewed and put on the record.
So you agree with me? I mean, listen. I've had some people on social media, former cops and current cops, just a few, that have disagreed with what you've said, and I've invited them on this show. Myron Gaines, apparently he didn't want to do it because you don't have a big enough following, which is a joke. And there's another guy who I guess is in law enforcement, and I looked him up on social media. We got into it a little bit, and I offered him to debate you. And then he's like, well, wait a second. You called me out. I want to debate you. Well, because I don't want the argument to be, I have all the law enforcement experience and you don't. That's the only reason why I want you here. So they can't make that argument. Now, I agree, and I have the knowledge because I listened to people like you, and I agree with everything you said. And those were the arguments that I made with Andrew Wilson. Everything you just said. You're not supposed to go to the front or the back of the car. De-escalation. You're supposed, when she says, I'm not mad at you, dude, that's the time to talk to her. She was calm.
Well, you're not supposed to start a contact. Your initial contact is not supposed to be pull on the door, get the F out of the car. Because now it's already escalated.
I made that statement also to Andrew Wilson. I agree with you. I made that statement as well.
And when we do a felony stop, if you watch Cops, if some of the listeners watch Cops, everybody's behind the car. You pull up on either side of the vehicle, you draw your guns. Yeah. Nobody steps in front of that curtain of light.
And he put himself in that situation.
Right.
Now,
so
people
what
will
would you say if one of the cops went downrange in front of the vehicle while you were trying to do a felony stop?
And then there's the Alex Preddy shooting, which you haven't even talked about yet. It takes 5 or 6 goons to tackle him. So even if he touched law enforcement and he put his hand on, I think, one of the officer's shoulders, a second after that, he's pepper sprayed close range. You're not supposed to do that. Seconds after that, he's pushed and shoved to the ground. 5 or 6 officers punching him and kicking him. They say he was assaulting officers.
No, they were winning. They were winning. They had him down. They had 3 or 4 guys on him. They had him on all fours. And in that point, all you want to do is flatten him out.
Get handcuffs on him.
And get him cuffed
and
up.
what do they do? One of the goons, they take his gun away. He wasn't ever brandishing the weapon. That's a very important part of this. And then they say, and I guess Andrew Wilson said, well, one of the guns might have discharged. Some of those officers might have thought he might have still had a gun on him, as if that's an excuse to shoot him in the back and execute him.
How about that lady on Fox News? The one they made her the assistant district assistant AG. Mm-hmm. She's an alcoholic. What is her name? I forget.
Judge Janine.
No, the one on Fox News.
McLaughlin
on Fox News.
I think I know who you're talking.
The one who came out and said that if you carry a gun, even if you have a permit to one of these protests,
Judge Janine,
that you're going to get.
Janine Perro.
She said, you will be arrested.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that caused the whole second. Now, they support the?
Yeah. It's funny how they're not. It's funny how they're not pro-gun.
Well, which one is it, Brian? Happens. Do they support Second Amendment or don't they?
Yeah, but here's the most important part of this whole thing. He was legally allowed to carry.
He was.
Okay. What law was he breaking? They say he was interfering. Okay. The police are the ones that went up to him first. He took a step towards one of the officers. When after one of the women were pushed to the ground.
So if you think as a citizen that a woman is getting assaulted by 4 men, can you intervene?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Explain that.
What I'm trying to say is he looks at the situation. He sees the woman getting assaulted. So his intention was to get in there and protect the woman, even though they were cops, because you would say, well, they're law enforcement. They're not law enforcement. They're border enforcement. And so can 4 or 5 border enforcement officers, can they assault a female? And if they do assault someone and you think it's illegal, can you defend the life and protect another person?
Yeah.
That's the question. Was he interfering with their law enforcement? Did he interfere with their investigation? What he did was he saw somebody screaming and he went in there and he put his hands up and looked to me like he's trying to hold them back.
Right.
Like, hey, don't spray and beat up this lady. And then I think he tried to pull one back up off the ground.
Correct.
Okay, that's protecting someone.
He puts his arm around the first lady. And then a second or two later, he sees the other lady pushed to the ground. By the way, great de-escalation technique there by this guy.
Is he allowed to protect someone who's getting assaulted as a citizen?
as a citizen,
Absolutely.
I don't think he was doing anything wrong. And I believe he was executed. You saw the video just like I did.
They shot him 9 or 10 times, didn't they?
An
Two
unarmed
different
man
officers.
who, by the way, has never been in trouble with the law before. Now, 11 days earlier, a lot of people on the right want to make the case, well, because he kicked out a taillight, somehow it's a defense for him to be murdered. And these people are, by the way, he wasn't arrested either. But I just find that excuse to be so insane.
You can't bring that in. If we go to a court of law and someone's getting tried for a crime, unless the defense attorney makes a mistake and brings in their past, you can't even bring up their past.
Kyle Rittenhouse, a week before those shootings took place where 3 people died, a week before, he's seen on a video in a car watching people shoplift, and he said he dreamed of shooting them. That was not admissible in a courtroom. So you mean to tell me that this would have been admissible because the guy kicked an ICE car 11 days before
he went down there looking for trouble? He strapped an AR-15 to himself,
right,
and went down to a protest. And by his own admission, he was going down there to protect people.
Yeah.
Looking for trouble.
Well, listen, my opinions are very clear, but even if you disagree with me, I don't think you can disagree with this. All I've wanted was a full independent investigation into both of these shootings. Forget about independent.
And you and Andrew Wilson went back and forth on that for how long?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. By the way, forget about even an investigation. There's like nothing into the Renee Good shooting. Nothing. They didn't do ballistics. They didn't do an autopsy. Nothing. And as far as Alex Preddy, yes, these officers on paid administrative leave several days after the shooting. I don't think there's going to be accountability here either. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, they're
going to claim that they thought he had a gun in him. They're going to claim that they didn't know he was unarmed, and that's going to be an excuse for
the
them.
Fox guarding the hen house.
Right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Because, like I said before on the show, if they find them guilty in Alex Preddy's situation of violating his civil rights, which I think they did, then everything they did after that is illegal.
Yeah. I agree. I just don't think there's going to be accountability here. And oh yeah, by the way, Officer Jonathan Ross is now a millionaire. He was rewarded, for my estimation, in murdering someone and shooting a 37-year-old woman in the face. Welcome to MAGA, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, are these Democrats? Do you remember that woman on the playground who called a 5-year-old the N-word? And she got paid boatloads of money. I think it was somewhere around $500,000.
$200,000.
Yeah, I'm wondering, who are the people that are donating to Jonathan Ross and that woman who called the 5-year-old the N-word? Are these lefties? Are these Democrats? No. These are MAGA supporters. These are Donald Trump's base. You know who Donald Trump's base is? I'll tell you. I talk about it all the time. Middle-aged, uneducated, ill-informed white bigots. This is Donald Trump's base. The people that think that Jonathan Ross is a hero. The people that thinks the Alex Preddy shooting was justified. The people who think it's okay to be an employee at a Cinnabon and call people racial slurs. The people that think it's okay for a white mother to call a 5-year-old the N-word. These are Donald Trump supporters. Am I saying everybody is a racist who voted for Donald Trump? No. But chances are everybody who is a racist voted for Donald Trump. If that makes sense.
That's the they.
Yeah. It's
they were the ones who did that. They were the ones who support Donald Trump.
Why are
they
we
are the ones who protect him.
Why are we so politically? We all saw what took place with these 2 shootings. We saw the video. Why is it that if you're a Trump supporter, it's almost impossible to convince you that this was not justified? Don't we have eyes? Why would you defend this stuff? How do you defend what's going on in Minneapolis? How do you say that this is okay in this country? I don't recognize the country we're living in anymore. We're a bunch of masked goons, because that's what they are. The people who shot Alex Preddy, the people or the person who shot Renee Good. These are masked goons who are not qualified to be in that position. How could you justify this?
You don't
stuff?
need to know policy and procedure, Brian. You do very good in debates at it, but I know what I saw with my eyes. I don't have to be a 25-year retired police officer to know what I saw. I could have never been a cop ever in my life, and I know what I saw was wrong. And I know they didn't follow the law.
Do you agree with Joe Rogan when he uses the term Gestapo? Do you agree with that?
I'm not afraid to talk about Hitler in 1933 and the Gestapo and what they did and how he came into power and became chancellor and his second in command. You ever see a picture of his second in command?
Yeah.
Who's he look like?
Yeah, well, Stephen Miller. Yeah.
And so, I would say that, where are your papers? Where are your papers? They hear somebody speaking differently, and all of a sudden, Hitler was different. A lot of it was religious, but this is the same hatred.
I am not about to criticize anybody for making those comparisons anymore. I said that several weeks ago. I'm beyond that now. I believe that Donald Trump and members of his administration are fascist. I believe that Donald Trump and members of his administration are acting like some did during Nazi Germany days. I absolutely believe you can make those comparisons now. I can give you a number of reasons why. I want to open up the phone lines now and kind of reset the scene here. Leonard's co-hosting with me today.
Maybe some of the warriors in the room, the keyboard,
that's doubtful.
Keyboard courage warriors.
That's doubtful. But I want to give out the phone number, which is 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283. But it's par for the course for these people that are keyboard warriors and cowards. You are MAGA cowards. You'll say all these things about me on social media. You'll make all these unsubstantiated
little
claims
shots at
about
you,
the shooting.
you know, but
then
don't
when
know.
it comes to actually having a real debate, and by the way, I will debate anybody. And I don't care what you think about my debates. I don't care whether you think I won or lost. The fact of the matter is I'll go on the Tim Pool show. I'll debate Andrew Wilson. By the way, Andrew Wilson, that's all he does is debate. He doesn't even really do a show. He live streams sometimes, and he just asks people to debate.
But did he really
That's what
debate
does.
you, Brian?
No.
Did he really debate you?
No, it wasn't a good faith conversation. In my personal opinion, it was not. Number to call, 702-221-7283. So we got the Super Bowl this weekend. I don't know which side you have, Leonard, but
I'm going with Seahawks.
Well, a lot of people, they're favored by what, 4.5, something like that. What better time to link up with my friends at mybookie.ag? You use the promo code LIMITS, and you use that code, you'll get a bet back bonus welcome offer of up to $500. You go to my Facebook page.
Wow.
The Pushing the Limits Facebook page.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, the Pushing the Limits Facebook page is about to hit close to 100,000 followers, probably within the next several weeks or so. So, yeah, we're really moving forward there. So you go there, check out my friends at mybookie.ag, use that promo code, and excuse me, and then there you go. There you go. Do you have any YouTube super chats?
There was one earlier from Lori. Let me see if I could find it.
I think we have a few that we could put up there. Let's go with Lori, and I think Numchuck just put up Lori's YouTube super chat. By the way, any YouTube super chat, we'll read them live on the air. Also, check out my website, which is pushingthelimits.live. Go ahead, Lon.
Thank you, Lori, by the way. She's a regular contributor. Don shows a video step by step from the charges in the church. The charges didn't match what Don was doing. Don is a professional journalist. I couldn't agree with you more, Lori. He was completely protected by the First Amendment. And the video shows him interviewing the pastor, interviewing other people. He's not causing a ruckus. And by the way, just because you buy 32 cups of coffee for the people to support them doesn't mean that you're conspiring with them. There are plenty of times when I was a lieutenant, I was in a neighborhood on a hot day and bought ice cream. The ice cream truck came by and I bought ice cream for everyone in the neighborhood. Does that mean I'm conspiring with them? No,
I would
it
say
was just
probably,
a nice gesture.
I would say probably not. Thank you, Lori, for that. And the number to call, 702-221-7283 is the number to call. All right, why don't we get to those phone calls, if I may. Let's start off with Herb. Herb is first up on
The
PTO.
real Herb? Or?
Hello, Herb.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hello, Herb.
Listen, how you doing? I just want to follow up on yesterday's call. And I want to make this clear. I know we have differences in opinions, and that's fine, Brian. I don't agree with you, and you don't agree with me. I don't have a problem with that. But the only thing that I was calling about yesterday, and I'm going to bring it up today.
Are we on topic?
I'm talking about what I called about yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Are we on topic? Are we on topic,
we made
Herb?
We made
Herb,
a $5 bet.
Herb, yes, we did, but are we on topic? No, Herb, here's the problem I have here. We have a lot of people on hold. We have full phone lines. You want to bring up some personal thing with me about a $5 bet we made yesterday. Herb, shoot me an email. You have my email. You can contact me.
Send you an email, Brian.
Is there anything on topic?
All I want you to do,
listen,
all I want you to do, Brian, is when you talk to somebody, don't refer to their mother or to their wife.
Is he trying to tell you how to speak to people?
All right, so Herb, let me ask you a question. Okay, so Herb, I'll respond to that. Herb,
Brian,
what do you mean? I'm having a conversation with you. Herb, I'm having a conversation with you. You just made a statement. I'm going to respond to it. That means you need to stop talking now. So Herb, I think there are different, different standards for different people. When Donald Trump attacked Ted Cruz's wife, were you very adamant about that? Were you speaking out against that? No, don't Brian me. Answer the question. Don't spin around it. Answer the question.
No spine whatsoever.
Okay, so Herb calls into this show, and he says, "Don't talk about somebody's mother or family member." Okay. My response: Did you call out? By the way, Herb's a Donald Trump supporter. So my question, I think, was a very simple one. Different standards for different people. So he doesn't want me talking about somebody's mother. He doesn't want me talking about somebody's wife.
But how's a grown man going to call another grown man and tell him?
Well, but even if that's the case, I'm asking Herb what I think is a very fair question. Herb, have you ever called out Donald Trump for going after Ted Cruz's wife and going after other family members?
You know he hasn't.
Have you done that, Herb?
Ryan, you always change the subject.
No, pot him down again, please.
That is the subject. That's the subject.
So let me just help Herb out. The subject was, Brian, I don't want you talking about family members.
Like he was calling you out,
Right,
and you're
right.
saying
He doesn't want me talking about family members.
right,
Is that
calling
right?
you out,
And
so
by the way,
you're
I don't even
asking-
know. By the way, I don't even know who he's talking about. But let's just say, argument's sake.
I don't
okay.
remember you doing anything like that.
Let's just say, for argument's sake, he doesn't want me talking about family members. Herb, we are on topic. We're talking about people who talk about family members. I just want to know if you gave the same criticism to the president of the United States as you would for a talk show host. Now, I would argue the president probably should have a higher standard than a talk show
I
host
call
like
the reporter
myself.
a little piggy.
Right. So Herb, I'm going to ask the same question again, and we are on topic. We're talking about people who talk about people's family members. Did you call out Donald Trump, the person who you support still and who you voted for? Have you called him out for going after Ted Cruz's wife and family members? Have you done that? Yes or no?
I will answer your question when you answer my question.
Already answered. No. I'm not going to waste airtime with you, Herb, because you're a coward.
You did answer.
Okay, that's what you
said,
are.
I don't remember ever doing that. You
know?
did answer.
Yeah. So Herb, I did answer your question, and I want you to answer mine because you don't make the rules of this show. Nobody forced you to call into this show. You took your little Trumpy fingers and you called in. Have you ever called out Donald Trump for attacking women and attacking family members like you've accused me of doing? Have you ever done that in regards to Donald Trump? Have you ever called into a radio show and said, man, Trump shouldn't have said that. That's wrong. He shouldn't be going after Ted Cruz's wife, so on and so forth. Have you ever done that? I'm just answer the question, Herb. Don't be a coward.
The caller's name was Steven. It was about 10 days ago.
Have a nice day, doofus. You don't want to answer
got
one of
plenty
my
of people
questions
that wanna
because you're a
talk, so.
coward and you just proved it on a national radio show. You're a coward. You called into this show and said, Brian, don't talk about family members. But then when it comes to the president of the United States, who is on the record attacking Ted Cruz's wife and attacking family members of people he at the time doesn't like, you don't want to answer the question because you are a Trump mushroom gobbling coward. Have a nice day, bud. And if you want to get personal about family, didn't your mommy teach you manners? Didn't your mommy teach you that if you're going to accuse somebody of something, that you need to be consistent,
What
which
about
you're
Donald
not?
Trump
You're a
saying
coward.
He's going to grab women by the P word and calling them
Yeah.
little piggy.
Yeah.
And you're a disgusting
Yeah.
human being. And I mean, did he try to call
Yeah.
the White House and say, hey, you shouldn't
Yeah.
talk about people
Exactly.
like that?
Herb, you're a coward. And there are different standards for different people, I guess, with you, Herb, because if Donald Trump does it, it's totally fine. I've never talked about grabbing women by the genitals. I've never randomly gone after somebody's wife because I don't like them. And I'll give a perfect example of this. Rachel Wilson. And by the way, I didn't do any of the things that Donald Trump does. None. I've had personal interaction with her. Personal reasons. I don't randomly just call people names. But you're an idiot.
You want to do super chat?
You're
before
not
we move on,
random.
or
You're
no?
an idiot. Go ahead.
So the Ottawa guy says, hi, guys from Canada. Love my American cousins, but what the heck is going on down there? We're
Yeah.
massing at the border with maple syrup and hockey sticks.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny. Thank you for the support.
And then
YouTube super
David
chat.
Penray.
Yep.
Hello from the UK. Thank you, David, for your donation.
Thanks, David. We got a lot of listeners in the UK. We appreciate you. Let's get back to the phone calls now. It's 702-221-7283. Let's go to Brandon. Brandon is next. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. How are you
Hey,
guys?
Brandon. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, Brian, I gotta give it to you. I mean, you have a lot of stamina going 4 hours with that Andrew Wilson guy. I think he's
That's
a total douchebag, for lack of a better term.
You're not going to get an argument from me on
Anyway,
that. That's for sure. We agree.
Absolutely. And, you were talking about, you don't recognize this country anymore. And, with all the stuff going on with, ICE agents in the street, all the video you posted yesterday, and all this brutality by our government. It looks like a third world country. I think now I know Tom Homan says he wants to take 700 people, 700 officers out of Minneapolis, but I just think it's time to take them all out, because you look at like past administrations, we've never once had this going on in the streets. I just think it's time to just reevaluate their strategy. I mean, enough's enough.
Well, so I have somebody on the line who claims that he's Tom Homan. Would you like to speak to him?
Sure. Yes, this is Tom Homan. You have a volume coming out of this, okay? Ron, the thing that you say about me are absolutely untrue, but here's the thing, I do love sucking on Trump's little mushroom, and yeah, I might be there, but...
What'd you do with the cash, Tom? I just want to know, what did you do with the cash? Because that was a lot of cash. Where did you spend it?
Did you really take a $50,000 duffel bag? Be honest.
You didn't go to the club, did you?
You know what? Yes, I did, and I'm proud of it because I have no wife at home, and I want to satisfy myself to women that actually really don't care about me. But I tell them to call me baby because I'm such a loser.
Tom,
I'm a big fat chump, and I'm a fat boy.
Tom, why does it sound like you have Donald Trump's junk in your mouth? Like what is going on there?
It's not that big.
How dare you say that? How dare you say that, Mr. Shapiro? You're not involved with the officer.
Tom, have you ever been in a physical altercation in your life? Like, you seem like you're the tough guy, right? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, you're damn right with tough guy.
No, I said tough guy, not Trump guy. Sounded like you said Trump guy. I don't know.
You know what? Got you. But still, I'm a tough guy. I've been made for this fight.
Well, you need to pull the other 2,300 agents out of.
Is there any, Tom? By the way, it's an honor to have Tom Homan on the line with us right now. Is there any truth to the rumors that you've slept with Kristi Noem? Is there any truth to that?
As a matter of fact, yes, I did. And even though
wow.
She's a puppet killer, I love kissing her disgusting melted cheese looking fresh. I mean, yes, I have plastic surgery, but who cares? This is a romance woman.
Yeah. Well, Tom, why do you terrorize people? Tom, why do you allow ICE agents to terrorize people?
That? How dare you say that? Terrorize people? I'm just ordering a bunch of damn cheeseburgers.
Wait, he's ordering what? What did he say?
I just ordered a bunch of cheeseburgers.
Oh, cheeseburgers.
A bunch of damn cheeseburgers.
Oh, okay.
Why do you let them wear face coverings, Tom? Why do they cover their face? What are they afraid of? What are they scared of?
Well, people are scared of it, but seriously, we're a bunch of witches, and I look up to the Ku Klux Klan for inspiration.
Is Brandon still on the line, by the way?
Yeah, I'm here.
Brandon, would you like to ask Tom Homan a question? Go right ahead.
Hey, Tom, are you thinking about retiring? I think you're overstayed your welcome, and it's time to go because you're doing more harm than good right now. I mean, your agents out in the streets, it's amateur hour. It's not a Hollywood movie. They need to be serious. You don't pull guns on protesters for no reason. Come on.
How dare you say that? I don't know, even though I love sucking on Trump's little government first mushroom, here's the thing. I want to live up to my Call of Duty cosplaying fantasy. Because seriously, I just have no life, and I'm not that good of a person.
Well,
Tom, I have a quick question, Tom.
Have you had?
Well, that's a good question. Tom, how many beers have you had? Brandon just asked you. Go ahead.
I've had like about 20.
20. Wow, so he's like Andre the Giant.
Hey, Tom, can I ask you a question? Wow. Is it true that they had to put you on Marine One because when they put you on Air Force One, it was over capacity? Is that true or is that just a rumor?
How dare you say that? How dare you say that? I'm an officer. I'm a patriot. How dare you accuse me of being fat?
Yeah. All right, last question, Tom, and then we got to go. It's truly an honor to have you on the show. Can you tell me when was thank you. When was the last time you spoke to Donald Trump, and what did you guys talk about? Can you share that with us? A private conversation that you guys had, maybe?
Yes, we were just basically talking about how strong we are, and yes, a lot of people call us fat, but it's all muscle, seriously. And I just got done, 30 minutes ago, sucking on a little mushroom. So yeah, that's all you need to know.
Is there anybody that understood one word that Tom Homan just said?
I was going to ask him about the bruises on Trump's hand, but I think I probably won't get a decent answer to
Tom, are you shaking Donald Trump's hand too hard? Is that why he's bruised up?
Well, it was both hands. So somebody grabbed both hands.
Oh, it's both hands. Is that true? Tom, do you shake Donald Trump?
Yes, that's true. I'll confirm that is true.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having you, Tom. It's a great honor to speak with you. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Tom, don't use cash wherever you go.
Brandon, Tom, thank you. See, you never know who's going to call into this show. It's such an honor. I mean, Brandon calls into this show. asks a good question, and then all of a sudden he can ask Tom Homan a question. You never know what's going to happen on PTL. It's amazing that Tom Homan.
It was a great opportunity.
Yeah, what an opportunity. You want to read the YouTube super chat? I think we have another one for you there, Leonard.
We have
a couple more.
Hannah Montan, Reform Brandon arguing with Tom Homan has made my entire week. I'm crying, laughing. And you did reform him, Brian. I know you don't like to take credit for it, but he came around and he admitted that he was understanding what you were saying.
That's true.
Electric Dad says the only physical altercation Trump or Holman have been in is to trying to button their pants.
That's actually pretty funny. I love the PTL listeners. I really do.
Ken Ritter said Don would never have been arrested if it was a progressive church. The church he entered was a Southern Baptist church, a very pro-Trump church. And by the way, don't forget, listeners, the reason they were protesting there is because the pastor is an ICE agent.
702-221-7283. David is next up on PTL. Hey, David, what's up?
Yeah, hey, Dave. Nice to meet you. Good show.
Thank
who
you.
is Sarah Spector?
I'm not talking about people that have sent me death threats, my friend. So I just told you, I'm not going to have a conversation with people that have. Unfortunately, David is calling into the show to try to make light of people that unfortunately have made death threats against me. So if you'd like to know, you can look that up yourself, David.
So he's one of them room trolls.
I don't mind.
Turd guys.
I mean, listen, I don't mind. People are there's just.
Does he have a
trolls.
fake name in the room, or is he like?
Unfortunately, we can all joke around on this show and have a good time, but I've never, whether it's Marjorie Taylor Greene or anybody, quite frankly, there's nothing funny about people that make death threats about other people. So maybe David thinks it's funny, but I certainly don't, and I don't tolerate nonsense. Let's go to Courtney. Courtney is next up on PTL. What's up, Courtney?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Courtney?
I just wanted to say two things. The one good thing that may come out of this whole thing is that people will finally realize how corrupt law enforcement has been allowed to be. We as Black people have been complaining about these same type of actions towards us for centuries. This is the same thing that has been happening in the streets. My cousin was murdered, beaten up, Michael Stewart in New York, beat to death in the back of a police van. We've been talking about this forever, and it wasn't until Renee Good and Alex Preddy that people started seeing what we're talking about. The other thing I wanted to say is how hilarious the stupid alternative halftime show with a bunch of nobodies and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Between them, Bad Bunny has 10 times the streams of all of those.
They don't even know which network. They listed a bunch of networks that no one's ever heard of. No one even knows where to watch it. That's weird.
And nobody even knows these artists. Like, who are these people? I've never heard of any of these people.
I mean, I know who Kid Rock is. I don't know who the other
He's
three
terrible,
people are.
though.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know, but I agree with you, my dear, and I appreciate your call. So I want to read a YouTube super chat,
Courtney.
and I'd like this person to call into my show because I think if you're not a Trump mushroom gobbler, and all due respect to this guy, David from Pennsylvania, who is
same David?
He calls into this show all the time, and he defends Donald Trump ad nauseum. And he says, shout out to Brian for saying Andrew Wilson defends pedophile, then being unable to provide a single shred of evidence to substantiate that claim. Well, David, if you actually...
That's not accurate.
It's not accurate at all. I mean, I'll let you respond first, and then I'll respond.
No, because what you were saying is that the people that agree with not putting out the Epstein files and the redacted files and the fact that 3 million, these are all facts, okay? These are not in dispute. 3 million files have not been released. Trump's name has been redacted. He's mentioned over 38,000 times. And what you were saying is, you were saying that him and those kinds of people are protecting what you believe are pedophiles.
At a minimum.
But that's with facts.
And
you
I
didn't
believe,
just say it like...
And as I've said about Bill Clinton, but I'll certainly say it about Donald Trump, I believe he's done some awful things to children. And the reason why I say that is based on a number of different factors. And by the way, I did a 4 hour and a half debate. And I mentioned probably hundreds of different reasons. Oh, yeah. He is in there 3,000 times. Well, Brian, that doesn't mean that he did anything criminal. Okay.
I'm not in there.
Maybe we can talk about the 25 plus women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape and the fact that he's a liable sexual abuser. Oh, but that's not enough, Brian. Okay. What about his ex-wife that accused him of rape? Brian, that's not enough. Okay. What about the 8 times we know he was on the Epstein flight log? Oh, Brian, that's not enough. How about the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell has been given preferential treatment, unprecedented preferential treatment. Oh, but Brian, that's not enough. Why is it that Donald Trump attacks people for bringing up the Epstein files? He said we should all move on now. There's nothing to see. Oh, but Brian, that's not enough. Why does Donald Trump literally attack every single person that just basically asks them a question about Jeffrey Epstein? Why are there still 3 million files against the law, by the way? All those files should have been already put out to the public.
If there was nothing to hide.
If there was nothing to hide.
Correct.
So there's a number of different things. Now, are you going to say, well, Brian, you don't have DNA evidence. There's no smoking gun. You don't necessarily need a smoking gun to have a strong opinion on something. And my opinion still stands. Now, if you don't think that's any evidence at all, and there's nothing to see here, by the way, this is the same guy who agreed with me on the air that most likely Donald Trump did some bad things. And that's why he's in the Epstein files. So he's contradicting himself. Thank you, David, for the $4.99. But I would hope that maybe you would save some of your money and use that to get your GED. 702-221-7283.
What's a GED? What's a GED?
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to Shay. Shay is next on PTL. Hey, Shay, what's up?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
I just think after this, we need. Is there a way where Democrats can shove Schumer out?
Oh, that's a good question.
Not easy.
Shay.
They tried to do that with Nancy Pelosi too, and it didn't work out very well.
He's got a lot of power.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of connections. He would be one. I agree with you. He needs to go. We need somebody younger and smarter and more motivated, and someone who's willing to take chances to set things right instead of the same old tired regime. I think Chuck Schumer should have retired years ago.
I tell you what, I think this Democratic 2028. I don't think there's no front runners right now, gentlemen. I think there are three things they have got to be solely 100% on. Abolish ICE. They're going to have to condemn that it was a genocide in Israel. And there's going to have to be Supreme Court reform, I believe, in this upcoming. If they can't deliver on all three of them, they're not going to be the nominee. It's going to be a dogfight in 2028 because I don't think a moderate or conservative Democrat is going to be the nominee this time. It's going to have to be a full, ruthless left wing that's going to go in there, and it's going to have to be ruthless to get this country back on top.
Somebody like AOC fits your definition, but will she be popular enough? Is America ready for a female president? Is America ready for a non-white female president? I don't know.
I would prefer her to take Schumer's seat. I don't think she's ready for president yet. I think she would wipe the floor with Schumer.
Yeah, but if you're talking about people that have been around, it's going to be hard to find someone that has the policy positions that you were talking about and is able to be popular across America, because what you're talking about is not centrist. Those were very partisan, possibly far left-wing policies, and I just don't see that. Me
Thank
personally.
you for the call, Shay. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Nelson. Nelson is next up on PTL. Hello, Nelson. Hello, Nelson. Go right ahead. Nelson, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Sorry about that. How are you? It's Good. Nelson from yesterday.
What's on your mind?
Well, I got a couple things. One of the titles that you put out, from yesterday, there was a video that said caller claim Andrew Wilson.
I don't do the titles to any of my videos. You'll have to talk to my editor about that, and you can send me an email. So if you have anything that you'd like to talk about that's on topic today, be happy to do it. Go ahead.
No, you're right. I apologize.
Yep.
It was just weird because I didn't say.
So what else?
He dog walked you. That's
all good. So you send me an email and I'll get it to my editor. So what did you want to talk about today on topic that you wanted to discuss?
2 or 3 things. With gender affirming care, I don't want to say I'm against that, but
I'm sorry.
I'm against gender reaffirming. I'm sorry.
That's kind of a separate topic.
Why are we talking about gender affirming care? I mean, I'm happy to. I'll answer your question because you're being respectful, but it's kind of not really on topic to what we're talking about.
I don't understand what is the topic.
We're talking about the Epstein files. And
the topic is
Donald Trump.
The topic is just Donald Trump's sex life. That's what we're talking about today.
I'm sorry. I thought I go in.
We were talking about how Donald Trump is Superman.
Immigration.
Yeah, we were talking about how Donald Trump is Superman and he's a porn star. and he's been with every beautiful woman known to man. That's actually the topic that we've been talking about for the last 90 minutes, and how smart Andrew Wilson is, and he's the best master debater on the planet, and he absolutely destroyed me. And we're talking about how Donald Trump is America first, and he's going to go down as the best president in American history. And we're talking about if you voted for Donald Trump, you're a patriot, and all those people who beat police officers on January 6th are hostages and patriots, and Enrique Tarrio is a great dude. And we've been talking about how smart Kristi Noem is and how beautiful Nancy Mace is. And we've been talking about how Stephen Miller really cares about Americans, and he cares about minorities in this country. And we've been talking about really how I believe the only people should get their information from Newsmax and Fox News and OAN, because all those anchors do are tell the truth, and they're very, very intelligent people. And quite frankly, I think Riley Gaines should run for president because she's certainly overqualified. She was an excellent swimmer. Listen,
she was an okay swimmer.
Yeah, no question about it. And I'm sorry if I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but as a whole, I think Trump supporters are extremely informed, educated, and very intelligent people. And, it's just the left radicals out there that are just really ruining this country. And, for those people on the right, they're the true patriots. And I will not be watching the entire Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl is going to have terrible ratings. And the only thing I'm going to be watching is that Turning Point USA concert, which is going to be.
They should have had an American do the halftime show. Everyone's saying it should have been an American.
I think that Turning Point concert is going to be better than Woodstock. What was it, 69? Is that what it was? Woodstock? I know there was a Woodstock 99. Was it 69?
69.
I could be wrong on that. I'm not always right. But when it comes to Donald Trump, I'm always right. He is an incredible patriot and a hero. And I cannot believe, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant here. You got me going. I cannot believe that people don't think Donald Trump is not America first. Are you aware, sir, that he doesn't even accept his yearly $400,000 a year salary? Did you know that? This man is so charitable and a man of empathy and character.
He gives away his salary.
Yeah, Donald Trump doesn't even have a salary. Can you believe that? And all these people out there that are attacking these ICE officers, they just care about the American people. They really just care about us, and I don't know why people have a problem with just being harassed and ID'd at random.
Right, like taking money from other countries for favors. That's just good business.
Yeah. I mean, what's wrong with kidnapping a president in another country and stealing their oil? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Listen, we're the best country in the world. We should be able to threaten military force against Greenland. We're talking about a lot of topics here, and I'm just so tired of these libtards.
Who are they? Who are they not to run their country properly, Brian?
I'm just so tired.
Those Venezuelans, they're not running their country properly. Who are they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so tired of these libtards. They're the ones that hate America, and all these protesters in Minneapolis and all these No Kings protesters are obviously all getting paid by George Soros. And did I say that Andrew Wilson is a brilliant master debater? He's a brilliant master debater. I mean, anybody who says and justifies a shooting by saying maybe he had a second gun or a third gun, I mean, that's the way to analyze a shooting and to give that as a defense. I think any judge would accept that. I think that's magnificent. Magnificent.
And Greenland should be America.
Yeah,
Canada should be America.
Absolutely. I mean, there should be 84 states.
Colombia should be America.
84 countries should join us. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So I hate to go off topic there, but yeah, you mentioned transgenders and all that, but there's so many things to be thankful for. I mean, Riley Gaines is such a hero, right? She's such a hero. And listen, if there's a number one, yeah, hello, how you doing, sir? Hello.
No, it's
hello.
So I was just wondering if you could hear me still. Sorry.
Hello. Yes. I think that the number one issue in America, it's not the economy. It's not how prices have been going up. It's not tariffs. It's not the farmers. It's not crime.
Murder.
It's not. All these problems are not really that important, as you correctly pointed out, sir, because that's the first thing. The most important thing is transgenders, right? That's what's destroyed. Like these drag queens.
Question? Does he know anyone? Does he know anyone in his entire life that was involved in that personally, or is he involved in that personally?
Yeah.
Because you know what? About 1% of the population is affected. Less than 1%.
I apologize. I apologize. I can't be a MAGA mushroom gobbler for longer than 5 minutes, but that's still 4 minutes and 48 seconds longer than Donald Trump lasted with Stormy Daniels. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry.
He wants to talk about the 0.001% of the country instead of what's really going on.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yes, I think that's allowed.
Oh,
go ahead.
He's still there.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You're allowed to speak.
No,
now. I'm
because,
sorry. Go ahead.
You kept talking. I'm sorry.
I know.
And,
I'm sorry for talking.
Apologize for,
I'm sorry for talking on my own show. I'll be quiet.
It was terrible of you to point out, Brian, how important those things are.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I can't tell if you're joking or not. No, I just wanted to apologize for saying that I was off topic. I never knew. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. You're forgiven. Maybe I'll get Donald Trump to give you a spanking. You're forgiven. Andrew Wilson might want to give you a spanking too. I don't know. Maybe. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can apologize by giving something to the super chat.
What was it about? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just going to say, like, the whole point of gender reaffirming surgery, I don't think it's okay to chop off or mutilate yourself, mutilate your genitals. I disagree with that.
Do you know anybody in your personal life who's been part of that or affected by that, or you've been affected by that? Do you know anybody? Why do you care so much? What is the obsession with the gender affirming care?
It affects the people who.
Let's start with you. Let's start with you.
He doesn't know anybody.
Hold on a second. Let's start with you, because I love people that complain about things. Tell me, how has that affected you in a negative way? Go ahead. No, he didn't, apparently. How has that affected?
Well, wait a second. I don't really know if that's a good comparison to make. That's like saying, I heard another person.
It's not a comparison. It's not
the news.
It's not a comparison. You're complaining. Hold on.
Doesn't affect me.
Hold on.
I'm not the one.
Yeah. Because somebody. Right. That's a good comparison. Because
You sound like a whiny little.
Transgenders are okay. So first of all, you're comparing transgenders to murder.
I'm complaining about transgenders.
Is it
I'm
homophobic
complaining
or
about
something?
the surgical procedure.
Gotcha. So are you a medical? Are you a psychologist or medical professional to come up with that sort of determination?
Do I have to be? Do I have to have?
Yeah, I think.
Well, it's kind of weird that you're obsessed with something that has nothing to do with your life.
So here's what I think is not fair. You're making judgments. Here's what I think is not fair. Am I shocked that this guy's an Andrew Wilson fan? Let me explain to you something. You're making a judgment on other people's lives when they've spoken to therapists, when they've spoken to doctors and professionals, which clearly you are not. Here's my advice to you. If you don't want to have, sir, that's their, sir. So you are.
I mean, it's
listen to how. No, you're not. No, listen to how
He's
stupid.
severely
Will you
preoccupied
stop
with it.
talking and let me respond? Shut up. Shut up. And pot him down all the way. When I say shut up, that means you stop talking, you dope. You are comparing transgender surgery to somebody cutting off their arms and their legs, which makes you an idiot. You are an idiot. Pot him down all the way, please. You are an idiot.
I have to wonder, Brian, why he's so obsessed with this subject, why it keeps him up at night.
I'm
why
now
he
going to
thinks about
That's
it.
a good point.
Because
I'm going to ask him. That's a good point.
Why?
Sir, have you ever had somebody that has had transgender surgery that has inappropriately touched you? Be honest, sir.
Have you been inappropriately touched? Is that what happened?
I'm not trying to argue with you.
Listen, you just compared people cutting off their arms and limbs to transgender surgery, which makes you an imbecile.
Giving an example.
It's a terrible example. Did somebody take out your, did somebody take out your brain when you were a child? Did you have that surgery? Because you don't sound very bright. You're comparing somebody cutting off their arms and their legs to somebody that has transgender surgery. You haven't answered my question. How are transgenders, or anybody for that matter who has had transgender surgery, affect you personally in a negative way in your life? Because I could give you a lot of examples of Trump policies that have hurt people, but go ahead and give me an example.
And I agree with that. I do. Sure.
Okay. So give me an example of transgenders or those that have had the surgery that have affected you in a negative way. Give me one example.
Or in any way.
Yeah, I'll say this, but can I speak or no?
I just asked you a question. Answer it.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said before, that's like saying, okay, if I hear a person get murdered on TV.
Okay, so you're not going to answer the question, and you're giving me another stupid analogy. So I'm going to assume that I've given you multiple chances to answer the question. Stop talking over me. Stop talking over me. I'm going to assume, because you haven't answered the question, the answer is no. It has not affected you in a negative way. So why don't you stay the hell out of other people's lives? And so long as it's legal, let them live their life and do what they want to do. And you go ahead and do what you want to do. If you want to pleasure yourself to Andrew Wilson 24/7, the Crucible, whatever the hell he calls himself, then you have the right to do that. And I won't criticize you for it. Okay, sir? How about that? All right? How about that? I'm very relaxed, sir. I just don't tolerate idiots like you. I don't tolerate idiots like you. Do you realize how offensive it is to people that have had transgender surgery, which is obviously a difficult thing to go through, I would imagine. Can you imagine how disrespectful it is for an imbecile like you to compare cutting off an arm or a limb to somebody having transgender surgery? Do you realize how stupid you sound, sir?
I really don't know.
Yeah, you don't know a lot of things. So here's my advice to you.
He doesn't know how stupid he sounds.
He doesn't know how
He
stupid
doesn't
sounds.
know?
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back and I want you to listen to this call, Brandon, okay? And I want you to listen to me clowning you for 5 minutes. Leonard and I are amazed, and Leonard can speak for himself, that you didn't even understand that I was joking around. Like you were all serious.
You missed the joke, Nelson.
I'm joking around with you, okay? And you didn't even understand that. And then the first thing you want to bring up is trans.
Can I ask him a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Brandon, Nelson, why are you oddly obsessed with transgender surgery? Like, what in your life, your emotional content, brings you to the point where you're kind of stressing about it, and to the point where you call a radio station and you want to talk about it? What's the deal? Did we lose him?
I'm just concerned with what other people do with their bodies, assuming that's
Okay, so that's a little weird.
That's very weird. Yeah.
Okay,
You
so that's
No, well,
are you a grown adult?
May I say this? Am I allowed to say this? Just one more thing, please. Am I allowed to?
What do you think about women that get plastic surgery? What do you think about that?
Oh, okay. Well, wait a sec.
No. Answer the question.
Okay?
Have you ever had a woman? What do you think about women that have had plastic surgery?
Please.
Wait. Answer.
If someone was a drug addict or an alcoholic, and they kept ingesting that.
Wait, don't talk about Andrew Wilson like that. That's not very nice. Don't talk about Andrew Wilson like that. That's
I tried
not very
to count
nice.
it, and Andrew Wilson, I think, smoked 3 packs of cigarettes while he was talking.
And I would tell you to go F yourself, because it's not your business if you told me something like that. I would say you have no bearing over what I do with my body. Go F yourself and have a nice day, because it's not your business. Can I ask you an honest question?
Oddly obsessed.
You're obsessed with no.
It's so strange, Nelson.
What's the whole point about social stigma then?
Okay. Have you ever had a woman? I listen. You seem to be obsessed with other people's bodies. So I want to ask you: Have you ever had a woman that has ever answer my question? Answer my question. Have you ever had a woman that's ever touched you in your life? Be honest. We're going to have a therapy. You
had the surgery and you found out too late.
What if you found out that they had the surgery? That's a very good question, Leonard.
Maybe that's what's bothering them.
Have you ever been with a woman that had plastic surgery and you just threw her out because you didn't like what she did to her body?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You don't know.
Are you Are you an adult?
So hold on.
I don't know.
If a woman does something to her body and you're intimate with her, you don't ask her about it and you don't talk about it, and that's totally okay. But if somebody who wants to, do something to their body or change genders, then all of a sudden you have a problem with it. Why is it your business?
Well, what if somebody is overeating or doing drugs or drinking alcohol? If you were a good friend, wouldn't you deter them?
Yeah, but they're not your friend.
Okay, so first of all, hold on. Let's go with that.
That's
for a
a
moment.
stupid thing to say.
So first of all, these are not your friends. These are. Hold on. I'll answer. I'll answer if you'll be quiet. Shut up. So first of all, these are not your friends. Clearly, these are strangers. So let's establish that, as Leonard established. That's number one.
Well,
Number two,
excuse
me. It has been proven that if you overeat and you don't take care of yourself, it is bad for your health. There are multiple different studies that claim that if you excuse me. There are many examples of doctors that will tell you that people who might have gender dysphoria, among other things, will commit suicide if they're not able to have transgender surgery. And there are also other examples of those that have had the transgender surgery that are doing just fine, health-wise, mentally, are doing just fine. So you don't know what you're talking about, and you're just like.
Right, but there's also people who've had the surgery who also regretted it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Guess what? There's a lot of people in life that regret a lot of things. Like right now, I regret taking your phone call.
So his
I regret
suggestion
that.
is don't have it because you might regret it.
I regret taking your phone call. Have a nice day.
That is I think he's homophobic and transphobic, and
what an imbecile.
To think
what a
about
shocker!
It that much
what a
strange.
Shocker that he's an Andrew Wilson fan. Let's go to Stacy. Stacy's next. What's up, Stacy?
Hi, Brian. I just have a couple things. First of all, oh boy, Nelson. Somebody should tell Nelson that there are 500,000 college students that play sports, and less than 10 of them are transgender.
That is correct.
The whole Riley Gaines thing was nothing but a red herring for the Trump administration and MAGA to run all over and make, this big noise about.
Hey, ma'am, I can't tell whether you're joking or not. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the last
No,
caller.
I wanted to tell you this, though. I think Trump has done such a great job. This planet he should rule the whole planet.
I think he thinks he already is. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Speaking of,
Okay, so what I called for,
go ahead.
What I called for was to tell you about that mega moron, mega buffoon that said that he doesn't believe any of the women that have said that Trump, sexually assaulted.
That was a terrible
They're
thing to
all
say, was it
They're all
not, Stacey?
But those type of people are the loudest to say that Bill Clinton was guilty of every single one of the women who accused him.
Yeah.
Well, to not believe women and just make a blanket statement and call them F and B word, I think tells you all you need to know. He seems like a soulless person with no morals, and no virtue, and just throwing things out for clicks.
Agree.
That's all he's doing.
Thank you for the call, dear. Let's go to Steven. Steven is next up on PTL. Hi, Steven. Hi, Steven. Go right ahead.
Yeah, hey guys. I just wanted to ask: can men get pregnant?
Sure. Is that a serious question?
No, it's
Steven. Is that a serious question?
Yes, it is.
No, I don't believe. No, I don't believe that men can get pregnant. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this?
Why are you
conversation?
interested in men getting pregnant?
Okay, so name me one prominent Democrat that thinks, on the record, that thinks that men could get pregnant. Go ahead.
The crazy doctor that Senator Hawley was investigating.
Okay, so so give me a name of an elected Democrat official that believes that a man could get pregnant. Now, there's a lot of elected Democrats, thousands.
Tim Walz.
Okay, so Tim Walz does not think that a man could get pregnant. You're obviously not a very serious person. Okay. I'm so glad you asked me that question, because now I'm going to educate you, you fool. Are you ready for this? Do you know why he did that? Do you know why he did that?
Why, dumbass?
Okay, so I'm not the dumbass. We're going to find out who the dumbass is in a second, but that's okay. I'll get to that. So the reason why was there were PTA. Are you going to listen, or are you going to shut up? Okay, pot him down. I'm going to explain to you. If you're capable of listening, I will educate you. There were PTA meetings, and in those meetings, parents were complaining that because their daughters were in boys' locker rooms because they didn't have enough space for after-school sports to put them in all the other locker rooms. So because they were using boys' locker rooms, with no boys in there, by the way, the parents were complaining and said, we need tampons in the boys' locker rooms as well. So what did Tim Walz do? All he did was he left it up to the school districts. So now I'm going to try to ask you a serious question. Do you know how many schools implemented that? Now that I've educated you on why Tim Walz allowed that to be left up to the school districts, can you name me any schools, or was it implemented? Yes or no? Can you answer that for me, sir?
One too many.
Okay, so guess what? The answer is 0. You have no idea what you're talking about. And if you don't believe me, you can look it up for yourself. Tim Walz left it up to the schools, and none of the schools have put tampons in boys' bathrooms. So not only do you not know what you're talking about, but you're spreading misinformation.
Okay,
No. Okay, sir.
Brian.
Okay, no. Okay, sir. Are you admit that you're wrong and you're a dumbass? Are you going to admit that you were wrong, or am I wrong?
Steve,
am I not telling the truth? Hello. Earth to you. Not until you admit that you were wrong. Did I educate? And then I'll let you. Nope. You're going to admit that what you just said was wrong. You said that Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, as you called him, you didn't understand why he left it up to the schools. You didn't even know the law. And you also didn't know that it wasn't implemented at any school.
Oh, he said one too many.
Yeah. So, sir, are you
0?
going to admit that you did not know what you were talking about, and that I just dog walked you and educated you? Because if you're not, no, it's not okay. Admit that you were wrong, and then no, not until you admit you were wrong. Otherwise, you're done. You understand? Or were you wrong? Did I educate you? Are you informed on this issue now? All right. Have a nice day, sir. Bye-bye. Notice how they don't want to admit. But by the way, he brought up this Andrew Wilson lackey moron, Rob Noor.
Oh my God, that guy
who doesn't have 5% of my listenership, who was begging me,
who had to be on the computer the whole time, looking up the answers and looking up his comments the whole time.
But when you listen to somebody like that, you get somebody like that who calls into the show, who is completely ill-informed, who has no idea what they're talking about, also won't admit when they were wrong. Have a nice day, sir. Go listen to Rob, okay? And go when he begs you for money. Go listen to Rob. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Charles. Charles is next. What's up, Charles? Hi, Charles. Go right ahead.
Ryan.
What's up, Charles?
Ryan. Hey, good morning. I'd like to start out by saying that I believe that you personally kind of like Trump, don't abuse women. And so I don't care how many women may falsely claim
Here's the
that.
difference, Charles. I'm not in the Epstein files. I'm not in the Epstein files, Charles. Hey, Charles, Charles, can I ask you some questions? Charles, hold on. Now I'm going to ask you. Thank you so much, Charles. No. Charles, am I in the Epstein files 3,200 times? Yes or no questions? You don't know. Charles, we're going to ask you. Charles, we're going to ask you some questions now.
Well, I don't know who was in there.
Yeah. So, Charles, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions.
Even I know
now.
who's in there.
Charles, I need you to focus. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions now, and we're going to see if you can answer them, okay? Okay? Charles, am I in the Epstein files 3,200 times or once? Am I in the Epstein files?
Well, you could be in the one.
Okay, Charles.
Well, you could be.
So far, I'm not in the Epstein files, and I've got news for you. I'm not in there, Charles. Charles, have I ever been found lying? Charles, this is Charles. Charles, you already answered the question. Now you need to shut up. It's question number 2, or the conversation is over. Charles, have I ever been found liable for sexual abuse in a courtroom? Yes or no?
Well,
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, so Charles, the answer is no. Well, so do we have some banjo music that we can?
I'll tell you
what. So Charles, let's keep going with this questioning, Charles. Charles, has anyone accused me of rape or sexual assault in my life?
I haven't checked.
Oh, okay. Well, the answer is no, Charles. The answer is no. So Charles, have I ever been convicted of a crime in my life or a felony? Am I a 34-count felon?
Again, I haven't.
Oh, you don't know. Thank you, Charles. Have I ever paid off a woman $130,000?
So why the comparison? Then?
Have I ever paid off a woman $130,000 to raw dog her and have unprotected sex?
Well, have you?
No, I haven't. But I'm asking you, dumbass. You're supposed to answer.
Answer your own.
Okay. I'm asking you though, dumbass, because see, Charles, you're not smart enough to understand, which is okay.
Do you worship Trump?
Yeah, of course he does.
The
reason why, pod this idiot down again. The reason why I ask these questions, Charles, is because Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands of times. He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He is a
By his
liable
own admission.
Yeah, correct. He is a liable sexual abuser. And you see, there's a little bit of history when it comes to Donald Trump. I don't have that history, Charles. None of that stuff that I just mentioned. So, Charles, are you a pedophile? I don't know. Are you?
No.
Are you?
Listen,
I
didn't say
Are you in the Epstein files?
On,
Charles, are you in the Epstein files? I think you are. I think there's a guy named Charles in the Epstein files. Charles, they haven't released 3 million files. You might be in the Epstein files. Charles, are you in the Epstein files? Charles, are you in the Epstein files? Answer the question. Answer the question. Are you in the Epstein files? Charles, are you in the answer? Are you in the Epstein files? Are you in the Epstein files?
I don't think so.
Charles, you don't think so. You don't think
Charles,
so.
do you worship Trump? Yes or no?
But then
Trump
half
mushroom.
of them haven't
Trump
been announced
mushroom.
yet,
Does he?
have they?
Trump
Do you
mushroom
worship
gobbler,
Trump?
ladies
Yes or
and
no?
gentlemen.
What?
Do you worship Trump?
Does he worship Trump? Yes
Do you
or no?
worship Trump?
Do I do what?
Worship.
I worship God.
Is Donald Trump God? Is Donald Trump God?
Well, that's a great answer.
I don't worship any idol.
Gotcha, Charles. I think you're in
Or
the
any individual.
Charles.
Maybe you
Well,
do.
kind of sounds like
Charles-
you do. That's why I asked.
Schumer?
Yeah, Charles. I think you're in the Epstein files. And have a nice day. You're one of the dumbest callers I've ever had in my life. Who are we going to next year? Let's go to CJ. I have about 30 seconds for CJ. CJ, what's up? CJ, are you there?
Yeah. I just thought I had some interesting news. Tonight at 7, there's going to be a town hall online, a virtual town hall with 2 Democratic candidates from Louisiana, one for the House of Representatives named Matt Gromlich, and not just any House of Representatives.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely have my eyes glued to that, CJ.
Hold it.
Yeah.
He's running against Mike,
Okay.
the Speaker of the House.
Oh, Mike Johnson. Yeah. Well, I hope he wins. I hope he wins,
Yeah,
CJ. I'll have my.
Tracy Burke is running.
Well,
I'll
thanks
have
for
my
letting
eyes
us
on
know.
that. I appreciate that.
We have to
Thank you
move
very
to another
much.
caller, though.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, we don't have time to take any more calls. We have a lot of interesting callers that
We
are waiting
tried.
on hold. We don't have time for any more calls. Are you in the Epstein files?
I don't know. How would I know? There's somebody named Charles is in the files. Andrew is in the files. Who else?
Some of the dumbest people. I swear to God. I have
Bill?
a lot of really smart listeners and educated, and I love the PTL Nation, but I have some MAGA callers that call into
Yeah,
the show.
Trump's in there over 38,000 times.
Dumb as a doornail. Some of these people, dumb as a doornail. But it wouldn't be a show
That was
without
fun.
them. So please call back. Leonard, thank you so much for being here as always. Hopefully it wasn't too torturous for you. I appreciate
No, it was great. I had a lot of fun. It was good.
I appreciate it. All right, folks.
Strange callers today.
Yeah, well, that happens from time to time. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Same time, same place, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah, those were some.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard.